what I really wanted to talk about today was systems for accountability, tracking, and reporting. And I know that's not the flashiest of topics, but I think it is the most crucial. It's the oxygen to the real estate agent. I firmly believe that the biggest reason that the vast majority of agents don't succeed is due to a lack of accountability and engagement. And if you look at any National Association of Realtors stats, 33% of agents don't even make it past their first year and renew their license and join the MLS anymore. Furthermore, 87% don't make it 5 years in the business. And that's crazy how there could be such a high failure rate. And in my 3 decades of running brokerages and teams and coaching them and training them, I've met thousands of agents that have failed. And it's always for the same reason. They're not making enough money. That's the reason they quit. They may give you another reason, but it's usually they're wasting their time. They're not making money. They need to earn some income. And it's the vast majority that leave for that reason. And then, you ask them, how much time do you spend trying to get new business? And most of them tell you none or very small amount of their time spent. They're very much into servicing existing clients. They love showing houses to existing clients. They love transactional issues with existing clients. They like working and helping their clients. But that only works if you have clients. If you don't have enough clients, but you don't get to do the stuff you like. And that's why I always tell people, man, why'd you get into real estate? I just love houses. You got to love people. Because people are the reason you're going to get into houses. They're the reason you're going to list houses. It's a huge problem. And what I find is the lack of doing those activities, and there's tons of them, and we teach and we coach them all. There's so many different ways to generate business. It's unbelievable. And what might work for one agent might not work for a different agent. And there's so many different ways to do those activities. But there's one thing that's similar about all those different activities. And that is it's hard to make yourself do them for a lot of different reasons. Some people don't like to be vulnerable. They don't like to put themselves out there, whether it's telephone calls or door knocking or social media or paying money. All those different things are painful. And so trying to hold agents accountable to those activities is tough. And it really takes some degree of tracking and reporting. You'll see that, for example, with a solo agent versus a real estate team. Why would solo agents want to decrease the amount of commission percentage they receive and be on a team? It's been highly proven for the last decade that agents on teams tend to make more money. Why? Even with a reduced commission split. Why? It's because there's a tighter relationship between the team leader and the agent for accountability and reporting purposes than there is between the traditional broker and an agent that just hangs their license in the brokerage. Someone's actually holding them accountable in a lot of different ways, and they're increasing their production and increasing their income amount despite the fact that they're on a lower commission split. Now, that doesn't need to be the case, but the fact of the matter is there's a difference here. A lot of broker owners and team leaders that are having a hard time with holding their agents accountable and engaging with their agents with regards to those activities that generate business do some tracking, but they typically track the wrong stuff. Okay. Most of us track results. We track what I call results-based indicators, or RBIs. Okay. They track how many deals an agent has closed year to date. They track how many listings they have, how many transactions are currently under contract. So those are birds in the hand. They're already results. They've already happened. They're not actionable. All we're going to do is try to finish out those transactions, get those listings sold, things like that. What we don't do is track their activities. And I call those ABIs, activity-based indicators. That's the key component. What activities are they doing that will generate new business they don't already have? And that's where top producing agents, they know that difference. And no one likes to be that salesman. No one likes to put themselves out there. No one likes to be vulnerable. No one likes to spend money for business. All of those types of things are hard. They're hard for me. They're hard for everybody. That's why top agents typically are pretty self-aware. They're self-aware. They're not in denial. They know those things are hard for them. So they do things like get coaches to hold them accountable. They do things like get systems, tracking. They use calendars. They use lots of things because they're self-aware. They need those things, or otherwise they will not do their activities-based indicators. And then the results-based indicators won't follow, right? Putting those types of accountability pieces in place are what creates motivation. Rah, and we're going to do this, gang, does create a level of short-term motivation. That's why we all go to real estate conferences and we're all fired up and recharged and going to rush it, all that kind of stuff after agents get back from a conference. But then a week later, you know what happens? It all wanes. And that's the problem. How do we sustain that motivation over a period of time? And that's done by accountability. You'll see a lot of team leaders and broker owners will say, I got all these agents and they just don't do anything. They may not be, but are you doing your part? Do you have a production centric atmosphere that focuses on production and holds agents accountable and helps engage them with the activities that lead them to the results they want to hit their goals? So the responsibility falls on the leader. We coach many of the highest producing agents and teams and brokerages in this country. When they come and they ask for help, this is where we see there's a lot of ways we can help, not so much the agents, it's the leaders. Then you'll see the leaders, they'll come with things. I'm just going to recruit producing agents, or I'm just going to let in successful agents, and that never seems to work either, because if you bring them in and you don't help them grow their business, then what value are you adding to your agent? So your retention slips, because now they can move to somebody else or they're just going to go to a place that's cheaper if you're not adding value. And that's the best way you can add value, is help them sell more real estate to hit their goals. That's what they're in business. It's really crucial that we establish that we can do that. And quite frankly, only the top teams are able to hold their agents accountable at a high level. Most teams can't. Certainly most traditional brokerages can't. They're just people hanging their license, and you're there to help them when they want to be helped until they leave you. And getting higher producing agents in your brokerage, believe it or not, you have the ability to make the agents you have produce, or at least a certain number of them. But we have to put some of those systems in place. It's every single agent's desire is to earn more income and or work less because they've earned enough income to leverage themselves. That's always their goal. And if you can be a catalyst in that, your brokerage, your team, or your organization can be a catalyst in that, you'll change their lives, right? So what we've got is our agent management portal at Icenhower Coaching and Training. And it is actually a system, the first system of its kind, that is held for agent training and tracking of their activities. And it actually ties in with all of their other online programs as well, too, including your CRM, any scoreboard or dashboard programs you have, plugs in and integrates with all of them so you can hold agents accountable. It's great for new agent onboarding, new licensees, top producing agents. We have training for every level. It even allows you to create your own courses that you really need to, because you have your own training for your own CRM that you need to create. And you have your own training for your own MLS systems, because everybody has different MLSs and associations of realtors across the country. Creating your own training with how to enter a listing, how to search for properties, how to create a CMA, even training like how you want them to hold listing consultations, buyer consultations. We have our training you can use. You can create your own if you like the way you do it, how to hold open houses. So our clients that subscribe to the Agent Management Portal are using both our training and using our AI, artificial intelligence course creator, to help create their own videos, and it spits out wonderful student workbooks for you and presentation slides for you, so that you can actually hold them accountable to that training as well, too. And you can see real time who's doing it and who's not, whether they're at home or in your office. It's neat. I promise you, if you've got problems with agent production or agent retention or even agent recruiting, put some accountability in place and really try to increase the atmosphere and make it much more production centric. Hope this helps.